Now we're going to be entering a nice little lunch break. It winds up being about an hour, so it's a good chance to just talk, relax, and talk. During that time, Discord will be open. Anyone with presenter mic ability can just pipe up and start chatting. This is a totally open forum for everything. So just go ahead and enjoy yourselves, guys. Thank you.
And just if anyone is drinking, make sure you don't drive, please.
Yes, please. I don't want any fatalities related to this conference.
Think about the great exposure, though.
I mean,
we'd be on news everywhere.
Well, here's the thing, though. This would wind up destroying the VN novel like community that I'm trying to get built up, right?
Yeah, but you haven't had a great conference until someone's gotten hurt. So,
all right, something to aim for next year.
Yeah, it's yeah. This has been amazing. Holy crap! Like, I don't know about you guys, but I have been on the edge of my seat for every one of these talks.
Every last one.
A lot of fun, for sure.
They're excellent. They're all really, really well done.
I've learned a new thing, at least one new thing every talk, so that's a good sign.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I really hope people are drinking those, so by the time that my talk comes up, the standard will be much lower. Because coming after Christine Love and
incidentally, for people who
Tom
don't,
and
yeah, the drinking game is what? Whenever someone says the word visual novel, take a drink.
Oh, drink.
no.
What about
like any trope ever? Apparently, just
Trope?
drinking means you drink more. It's I don't know.
And you guys, I don't even know the rules. Just don't get hurt. That's all I'm asking.
But don't worry, Nye. You'll be fine. You're going after us.
Don't be so hard on yourself. I mean, you're representing what, 40 people, 30 people?
In terms of like people who are actually working with us, 20. In terms of people who have worked with us in the past, over 100.
Well, since the mic's open and no one else is really grabbing a hold of it, just so you guys know, there is another Discord chat that is a kind of a regular hangout for a lot of the devs. Run by Tom is there. A couple of the other major devs are hanging out there as well. You can see people from the letter and such. From the R Visual Novels Dev Talk channel, I'll post a link again in the Discord just so you guys have it, and I'll probably plug it at least 4 or 5 more times before the night's over. So.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's a lot of people.
I'm going to drop a link, and I'll see you guys there.
Yeah, it's a really active channel, and a lot of devs just hang out there, so it's good.
I've been collecting dev channel discords. I think I've got a dozen of them now.
Yeah, each one has its own little thing too. So.
Yeah, the thing I like the most about Dev Talk is just because it's connected to the R visual novels community. It's one of the biggest consumer communities for visual novels that I'm aware of. That's primarily in English, but yeah, and it's fantastic because it gives us a place to interface with people who read them and consume them and make them, and that's something that I think we could use a lot more of as people who are really enthusiastic about consuming it, and not just creating it for creation's sake. So anyway, I'm dropping the link now. You guys don't have to head over there now, but for future, if you guys want to come hang out, you're more than welcome to. So there's the link now.
so much spam?
That's only the third time I posted it.
Okay, let's just all drop our Discords. It'll be okay.
Shameless advertising.
Yeah, if you have shame in this industry, you need to get out.
What the hell are you doing here? Yeah.
You have to just be very forward with everything.
Watercress Discord is great. I'm always very active.
Yeah,
Don't have very
and
many public channels, but
half of it's memes, but don't worry about that.
Yeah, with regards to shame, I was thinking, like, I was debating putting my visual novel translation stuff on my resume, and I was like, oh man, it's literally arrow gay. Should I do that?
I actually have a separate one specifically for that purpose. I say, okay, how open are you to adult material? And they're like, oh, we don't have a problem with it. Okay, well, here's this. And it's
Well,
just loaded.
always.
Like, I mean, I have titles, I have the V&DV links, so those who are super duper, like, open to that, they can go crazy. And it's actually really useful because when I can, submit applications to, like, third parties and things like that, just say, hey, here's this. I've worked on all this stuff. Have fun.
Yeah, I find it really a good idea to when creating resumes and stuff, having particular ones for whatever role you're trying to apply to. So
That's also
definitely
true,
worth.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the conversations that I would love to have is we have a lot of devs in DevTalk who work on explicit content, and we have also a fairly large population of devs that work on nothing that even touches explicit content. And it's kind of become a point where sometimes we wonder whether or not we should segment off our explicit content from our non-explicit content channel-wise. And I was kind of hoping someone would have a dialogue at some point about professionalism in terms of erotic content and kind of moving forward with a resume in the industry, because this is like a lot of people are super hesitant to even use their real names when we're talking about visual novels. There's so many pseudonyms out there for people that I know both names for that, I mean, I kind of feel like that if we're going to open up, the industry either needs to become cleaner or people have to become more accepting of erotic content. So it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, even then, even in Japan, it's like some of the developer friends that I know, they have a stage name supposedly that they go, and they've been going for like a good 10, 15 years under that name. But yeah, their actual name is totally different. And they just have two identities and they just run with it.
Yeah, that said, I put my AeroGay translation stuff on my LinkedIn to ward off the recruiters. 'Cause, that's really, really annoying.
Oh God, the constant I need a dev or I need a data scientist emails that I get.
I need a
How's your
warm body
job
to
search going, by
occupy
the
the
way?
seat.
My job search is okay. I got a couple of things coming. No offers yet, but we'll see.
It's good. I've been worried about you. You haven't been talking about it much, so.
Because I've been busy setting this thing up. Like adding a job search
right?
made it all the more exciting.
Oh my God, this conference has dominated like my last 2 weeks. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been preparing for this for the last 2 weeks straight, and I have made zero progress on my visual novel because I've been too busy trying to prepare for a talk that I'll probably bomb. So, yeah, this I can totally understand being consumed with this thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, still, it's cool. All right, let's see. I'm gonna grab some lunch. I'm gonna get some food and drag it to my computer. You guys chat amongst yourselves.
I'm trying desperately to follow everyone on Twitter. I know,
I have
right?
a,
They keep coming by.
Oh, all the people.
I like
have
how
a
like
running-
lunchtime is basically like, hey, everyone share your shit.
Yeah, I mean, this is a networking opportunity. I think it's great. And I have a small list of VN developers that includes a lot of people in the chat, I believe, attached to my Twitter account. If you guys check out the VN devs list that's on my account, should be able to follow most of the people there. I keep a lot of tabs on folks, and just to see who I can invite to our dev talk and just kind of keep tabs on.
I think I've seen that list before.
I haven't updated in a couple weeks.
But I've been following you for a while. Like, the reason why I know or joined the dev talk in the first place? Because you were talking to Renpai Tom.
Yeah. I shill it a lot. That's kind of a running joke on the sub.
Something drink.
Yeah.
Jesus, so many people to follow.
Hello?
Worth.
And can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, no, I'm not sure if I should be here. I'm the other part of Route 59 that Kuiper did the talk at the beginning. I got a little invite under the second Justin's account. Is Randy still here?
I think he just took off for lunch.
He wants to get
Dang.
food.
Yeah, he said he's coming back. Though. He should be back in a minute.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'll assume I can just hang around. But yeah, I'll see if he'll kick me out later.
Yeah, I have too many multiple personalities to deal with to have to worry about managing two identities.
I preview my talk, the Nekopara OVA. Nice.
Yeah,
Nekopara.
it will make sense when the time comes up. It's my talk is about marketing and value, about value, customers seeing value in a product, and Nekopara comes up because you'll see. Like I don't want to spoil it, but I promise it's a good reason it's there.
Gotcha. Yeah, our talk is the next one, and it's about when you will fail, and you will fail, how to get back up from your failure.
Like how we will fail on the talk. That's part of the talk. We planned it out actually. We intended to fail.
Oh yeah, we're definitely planning on failing during the talk. It'll be okay.
Stumble over every single word, step one.
One of the failures was getting in the talk a week before the con was actually taking place. So scheduling failure is definitely part of it.
Yeah, when Randy was first talking about the talk, I had originally signed up for a 5-minute talk, and it's because someone else bailed out that I got that 20-minute talk slot, and I think someone else bailed out at the same time. So
yeah, someone bailed.
That's how we got the 20-minute talk.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had originally asked me if I wanted a 20 or a 5, and he gave me the offer of both of them. Like, I think 5 is going to be enough. And then
I feel bad because I submitted 5 talks.
Oh, jeez.
I submitted 2 20s and 3 5s, so
Yeah,
I do this shit all the time.
that's great.
Echo and I could talk about hours for like days because there's so much involved. Like, it's very much about like running a team. And there's like so much you could talk about running a team. And a lot of people are like, oh, I want to learn how to code and write and do music and like I want to make a game. But a lot of people are like put the cart before the horse and just don't focus on managing a team. And I love talking about that, specifically because no one cares about it.
Thank you to Tabby, by the way, for touching on it with her talk.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was really good.
I think I had mentioned that we had brought up your team in Dev Talk before, because we were just wondering how the team was managed and how big it was, and when you guys came over into the chat, it was just kind of this weird moment where like we had basically been gossiping about it because we were not sure how in the hell it was going to work, and I'm glad you guys are going to be talking about it a little bit. In your talk here, because I'm still kind of curious how you guys managed to manage like 40 some odd people who are working for free.
Managing so at the height it was 36 people, and long story short, don't. Yeah, because we quoted ourselves to be Bureaucracy Simulator 2017 or 2016 back in the day. Like, it literally becomes a government if you have too many people.
Not preferable.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Started forming committees and everything,
Oh, yeah. There's a point in time when I had 7 meetings a week for a freeware studio.
Oh my god.
That's too much. That's
On
too much.
average,
Sorry.
2 hours a meeting.
Yeah, that's way too many. Even
Yes.
doing the auto shows, we don't have that many. And, we're doing these giant multi-million-dollar projects. We don't have that much meetings.
Oh, yeah.
To be
Meetings.
fair, like, go ahead, sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
That's my bad. I'm good.
in terms of meetings, like I guess it's like an American philosophy where like the more meetings you have, the more productive you are. But that's false in every way, shape, and form. Meetings are not productivity. Like the more meetings you have, the less productive you'll be because you're wasting time.
Wait, I've never heard that. I don't think. Oh, really? People consider meetings being productive?
I realize your TV's muted.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
now?
Oh no, I just find that really interesting because I have never heard of people thinking meetings as anything but like a waste of time. Although I am based in Australia, so it might be a different kind of culture.
Yeah, I think in corporate America, a lot of people consider them waste of time. So both people that run them and have them, and people that are forced to sit through them.
Yeah, in the places I've worked in Silicon Valley, it's like you use meetings as a threat. Like, do we have to have a meeting about this? And then people decide.
Do we need to have a talk?
Do I have to put you in a room?
This is an intervention.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
the drinking has not gotten that bad yet.
So
I didn't come prepared. I don't have any alcohol with me, to be truthful. I'm drinking artisan water, though, so...
So I don't know how to pronounce your name, but Liu, like Liew, I'm sorry. I have no idea to pronounce that. But in terms of limiting meetings, that's... I could have an entire speech just on that. Set deadlines. Deadlines are your best friend. I hate deadlines, but deadlines. Just definitely deadlines. Have everyone work on their own. People that you're working with should be competent enough to know what to do when you're not around. Micromanaging is terrible. Don't do it. Make sure you have competent people you're working with, because if they're not competent, they need to hold their hands, and then it's just a nightmare. Also, communication. Trello is excellent. Like, Trello is fantastic. And just keep in contact with the people you're working with. And, like, nod them every once in a while, like, poke them and prod them to get their work done.
I find Slack really, really nice.
Discord is becoming a fantastically useful tool for us. Hey, did you guys hear that there's a dev talk chat on the r/visual novel server?
Yeah. By the way, there is a dev talk chat on the Visual Novel Discord. I'm not sure if you guys...
Is that the new drinking game?
Apparently, we're all gonna get wasted at this point if we keep pushing this.
By the way, when it comes to deadlines, I find what helps is trying to set them towards like real things with fixed events, like trying to present something at a con or something like that. Just because, like, if you set your own deadline, oh well, it's fake anyway. You blow past it. But like, if you have a real deadline, I'm going to get this done by this hard date. I find it a bit more motivating.
NaNoWriMo.
Yeah, exactly.
NaNoWriMo is fantastic. Like, NaNoWriMo is amazing. And like 2D said in the chat, we have meetings every Friday, and that's when we have our deadlines. And if you don't make your deadline, like, the entire studio will frown at you.
50 lashings.
We're going to talk about that.
50 lashings? That's amazing. I would love to hear her talk about that.
we already went through Christina Love's game.
Schedule a meeting. Oh, please, no. Flashbacks, man.
Her talk. It was great. Like, I hope I get the slides out of that. That was fantastic.
I loved all the talks. They've all just blown me away. And like it was mentioned earlier, I've learned something every talk, which is fantastic.
I love the variety so far.
Yeah.
I'm just really impressed by how like well timed everything is. Like usually, you expect people to go over time like by a bunch, but we've been really on time.
That's because Echo and I haven't gone yet.
Really, Tommy, there I have a question for you.
For you?
Yes?
Hey, do you have a way to do a word count in Ren'Py?
Yeah, if you just run the lint option from the launcher, it gives you a word count at the bottom.
Thank you, sir.
Solving people's problems.
Yeah, that was one of those things that I was just kind of curious how long games were, so I added it and then made it public. There's also a fairly hidden feature where if you I think it's Shift Alt P is the combination. It brings up a list of, or maybe it's F2. I think I found it F2 after a while, where it shows you a progress meter of your progress through a visual novel.
Yeah, Christine was mentioning you should do it per scene as well.
That's cheating.
Yeah, I keep all of my scenes separate in Scrivener, so I keep a workout on there.
The problem is RenPy really doesn't have a concept of a scene. Like, it's not a concept that's expressed in the RenPy language.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, you can have a collection of labels, or you can have a scene statement, but none of them really make sense as like a scene from a story perspective.
So yeah, I've noticed a lot of VNs with adult content lately. I've been starting to do like a number or a dot system or something like that that shows how many more text boxes are you going to have to go through before you hit the climax scene. And that's actually been a big thing lately, and I like it, but I don't know what I think about it yet.
The march of technology.
Right.
Our talk can kind of go either way. Wolf and I will be giving it together. Since we didn't have a ton of time to prepare for this one, we have a general outline and a nice PowerPoint, but we'll probably run it a lot more like we do a public meeting in our own Discord, where we kind of bounce ideas off of each other. It should be pretty interactive. You're free to ask questions in the Discord as we go.
Yeah, we definitely ask during it. We'll try not to go over 20 minutes, of course. But we don't I personally really hate reading off a script, and I like interaction. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I have the job I have in Watercress. Interaction is my jam.
My jam is NaNoRenO.
Hey, Lamau.
Damn.
I think NaNoRenO is one of the oldest game jams in the world at this point that's been continuously running.
Much fun. Yeah, I think only Ludum Dare has been running longer than NaNoRenO.
Hey, we also took part in that. Spoiler alert, don't make a VN in 48 hours.
To be fair, it can be done. Saving Zoe, which was one of the ones that I showed, we did over the weekend for Asylum Jam.
Yeah, when we took part in NaNoRenO 2014, maybe, I think it was, way in infancy, we have been around for only a few months, and so we were woefully unprepared. And while the game isn't that bad for being 48 hours, it's I guess we could do a lot better now that we have 4 games in a Steam release. You
mean Ludum and not NaNoRenO?
Oh yes, Ludum. My bad.
I mean, part of it too is though it's the short games. Not every good game is a super polished. People spend a lot of time polishing the way up. I played a lot. Some of my favorite games are ones that are relatively short. By a 2-person team that just had something to say. And it's hard to think of anyone in particular, but certainly I played a lot of games where I'm I really enjoyed that, even if it was only 5 minutes long.
Yeah, I don't know how long LOL was, but I guess our game that we talk about all the time is Palinurus. We had so much fun making Palinurus, and Palinurus is probably one of the reasons why we're still around. Just the fact that it was really a big morale boost for us.
Oh, Palinurus is one of my favorite visual novels, period.
Really?
Yeah.
On my heart.
Oh. Yeah, you have no idea how much it means to us.
It's, one, I actually played it during a hard time of my life, so it actually spoke to me that way. But it's also, I like the science fiction. I like a lot of the concepts in it. So I mean, it really is a game I totally enjoyed. And, really, it's one that, beyond oh, this is a good use of RenPy, there's also games that just, me as someone who likes science fiction, as the various things that I like, that, was right in that area. So.
I noticed you tweeted about the SpaceX launch during the VN conference.
Which was right during the middle of
so
the break.
Cool.
Which is perfect. They landed it, too. They did a barge landing.
Those are so fun. I want to work there someday. That's my dream job out of college. SpaceX or NASA.
What's it called? Depends on how hard you want to work. SpaceX, apparently, they really do work you. I mean, you do a lot, they work you really hard.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
I actually got to take a tour of about a year ago. I thanks to my Twitter account having a ton of followers, I applied to NASA's social program and got to take a tour of Kennedy Space Center and watch a launch of an Atlas rocket with cargo to the space station.
That is nuts.
So that was
Yeah,
fun.
I lived in Florida for a while, so I got to watch the SpaceX rockets come in, like from the ocean to.
Oh,
to-
nice.
Wow, that'd be
It
so much
was-
fun.
It was a lot. It was just, it's bigger than you think it is. And you just think about how they just kind of like plopped it on a rocking barge, and you're like, geez.
Someday I want to experience one. You don't get to see many rocket launches in Idaho.
Yeah. You see a lot of snow.
See a lot of snow.
Well, that doesn't exist in Florida or the Bay Area, so.
You want to trade for a little bit? We can like swap out.
Hell, you can meet me halfway. I live in Kansas.
A really quick question to the panel. Those of you that are working basically the lead as well as designer developers that aren't writers, how have you guys kind of managed your relationship with the lead writer in your projects?
Give them more alcohol.
I cannot answer this question then, unfortunately. I am a writer as well as a dev.
So, did I hear you correctly? Was your question how do we manage our relationships with the lead writers?
Yes, because from my understanding, a lot of people are both the lead developers and the writers. But we have this weird situation where I act as kind of the lead developer, and we have Justin Kuiper, who's the lead writer, and kind of trying to work with some, sometimes you have creative differences or disagreements, who gets the last call, etc.
Well, I think that you should give your writer complete creative control, Kevin. That sounds like the best idea to me. Speaking as that writer.
Well, I don't know. In my opinion, off the top of my head, the story is really what makes a lot of VMs great, and so our writing team has some pretty heavy membership and pretty heavy control. But in the end, I think with Watercress at least, all of our teams have just so much respect for each other that really whenever there's creative differences, it's really easy for us to find compromise, just because each of us know how hard it is to do each other's job. Like I can't imagine being in, for example, our art team shoes. So whenever there's a creative difference for art assets, like if I'm working on a GUI or something, since I'm the coding director, I usually put a lot of the control, give a lot of the control to the artist.
Yeah, it also helps that we tend to work on the fact that you are a Watercress member first and a writer or artist or coder, etc. second. Like your job is like why you're here, of course, but we are very much of like a family mentality at Better Studio. You kind of have to if you want to survive being a freeware studio, because we don't turn a profit, therefore we can't pay people, therefore it's really easy to lose people.
Great. No, thanks. Those are some good answers.
Also, commenting on Christine's presentation and her comments in the Discord, I don't think we've ever started or come even close to starting UI in the beginning of a development phase. So that's interesting to try out. We should pursue it in our next NaNoRenO, Wolf.
Yes. Actually, I could probably look at the deadlines I have set and modify it. to have the UI come earlier.
It's an interesting concept. I haven't ever thought of doing UI first. Like usually what happens first is we get writing and then art for the writing, and then the UI is based off of art is the general flow of creative assets. But
Right. We have like the rule of writers, like make sure all of your lines are 3 sentences or less, and if it's 3 sentences, make sure like relatively short. And that's about like all we tend to talk about in terms of like UI and fitting words into it. Reminder for everyone to take a drink because Nia just mentioned Dev Talk again.
So every time Dev Talk is mentioned.
Yeah, the running joke is that I'm a notorious shill for Dev Talk. I've done a lot of community building recently for Dev Talk, and if I don't mention it, no one goes to it. And Agi was saying earlier, Randy was saying earlier that if we don't build it, no one will come. And so Dev Talk is basically my parallel effort to the VNCon to building it so that people will come to it. So, and being attached to one of the biggest consumer communities for visual novels out there, it's a huge bonus for it to be there. So it's yeah. I'm just gonna stop plugging it now because that's what I'm doing. Sorry.
Honestly, you can keep plugging it. I just don't really want to get drunk before I give my speech. Because I'm already going, how do I stretch it out to 5 minutes? I don't need to be drunk and going, well, you do that thing with the button and you talk to the customer.
You lightweight. No, I'm kidding. Are you really drinking? Because that was kind of a joke.
No,
honestly,
I'm at work. My boss would kill me.
Oh, please.
Honestly, I question how important it is for a community to be, whether developer community works best when associated with the player community. Because I found, at least with Lemisoft, it worked fine up until a certain size. And then we started having people who are there more for the community than for, actually trying to develop or even playing the games. And so I wound up having to refocus the forum on mostly developers just to, get it back on topic and reduce the amount of drama that was going on. So.
I moderate the Dev Talk channel kind of loosely, and we do have a lot of shit posting. We don't really have a lot of drama, but we tend to go back on topic a lot. We're not at critical mass yet to the point where we start doing it, but I mean the Visual Novels Discord by itself has nearly 2,000 people already in it. It's average login of 500 users at any particular time. Dev Talk itself has about anywhere from 40 to 50 people watching it at the very least. So we've gotten to the point where it moves so quickly that I don't think the drama stays around that long. And because I use a pinning system to kind of keep us on track with feedback and development resources and such like that. If you look at the pins on Dev Talk, you'll see some of the recent work that people have been showing off. Some of the people have been good friends of mine. But we keep it on topic, and the moderation is very deliberately directed that way. Actually, we might be looking for another moderator if it keeps getting this big, because it's getting kind of huge at this point. But yeah, no, it's something that's definitely on our radar to look out for, to watching out for the immense amount of shit posting that will eventually come as we get bigger.
I mean, I could just keep spamming shit posts in there all day if you want me to.
That would be fun, actually. I mean, we also have. I noticed when we crack down on shit posts in Dev Talk, that's a great keeper to have.
I'll just make a bot that just sends you a various shit post once every 10 minutes. That'd be great.
That's great. That'll be great if you could do that. But I mean, we have noticed that if we cut down and crack down on the shit posting and the jokes and the community just kind of feel good stuff, just going back and forth and focus exclusively on dev, the chat dies. People stop talking in it. Nothing happens in it. So I mean, I've gotten to the point where I kind of accept the shit posting a little bit. We keep it respectful, because it is a professional environment. We do kind of want to maintain that a little bit, but I notice if we just cut it out entirely, the chat dies and no one wants to be there.
Yeah,
so yes, it is respectful shitposting, Jake. Exactly.
Yeah. It's not only a place to talk about development, but it's a place for developers to talk. That's how I tend to see it.
Yeah, and it's also a good gateway into the community for our visual novels too. You guys, I mean, they post regular. Every time a new post comes onto the subreddit, it gets thrown into the subreddit feed channel, and it gives devs an opportunity to actually interact with a lot of people who are really interested in visual novels on the consumer side. So I think that anyone who's in the Dev Talk channel should also branch out and take a look at some of the other channels that are there. A lot of the people that are here are people who are really passionate about visual novels, and if you read them yourself, which you should, but if you read them yourself, you find a lot of people in here who have a lot in common with you, and I think it's a really great opportunity for anyone who's really looking to connect with the community at large.
I found that a community needs to have some levity to it, or it just dies, like he said. Because we tried starting a forums for Sky Project, and well, I actually haven't looked at them in a month or two. I think that says a lot, and I probably shouldn't admit that. My boss on the thing listening to me. You can just hear Randy going, "What do you mean you haven't looked at it?"
Yeah, you careful what you say.
Yeah, one more thing.
The thing is, I'm looking at now. No one besides me has looked at it in months. Like, we could fold it. We just redirected it all to Fulanovel or Limasoft, and
yeah.
So yeah, if you don't allow off-topic conversation, it just dies.
Yeah, it's just
honestly.
Well, I mean,
stealing half my talk. Shit.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Sorry, go on.
It's kind of important, I think, like that, like a forum has kind of a life cycle to it, where like people come in as newbies, but like you almost certainly have to have a way for those newbies to become, you know, more and more experienced, and eventually, like after a few years, they're regulars. They're the ones that the newbies are asking questions of. It feels like for something like Sekai Project's forum, where you know there's the staff talking to people about the games, like. I mean, I guess you can talk about individual games, but you never become like really good at a game, like a visual novel, like you might some other types of games. At least when it comes to developer community, I find a very different dynamic, where you know we kind of have like that sort of pull. This is the place to get to support, sort of pulls new people in as they want to join the community. So.
Yeah, I think, and actually related to what you just said, Tom, an interesting thing related to like community building that I've heard said about Reddit is one of the best things that Reddit does is it tends to keep user identity small, so people don't have avatars, people don't have signatures, and in a lot of cases, especially in the early days, I'm not sure if they've changed the interface since then, but you know, you would read posts without really paying attention to the usernames, and so it really put the emphasis on what was posted. And that made it such that if you were, you know, a neophyte, if you had no posting experience, there wouldn't be a thing next to your name saying joined, you know, January 12th, indicating that your account was only 2 days old. People could find that information if they wanted to, you know, weed out spam and that kind of thing. But it's not like it was made readily apparent. And I'm not sure if that's, you know, an argument for or against that kind of thing, but.
I mean, it can go either way, though, because like there is a certain amount, you know, I mean, depending on where you are in Reddit, you know, you can have like people. It's also possible for people to step up and claim things that, you know, like it does help in a technical forum. And again, I'm more focused on the technical side to like have an idea. Okay, this is probably an experienced person versus this one. This is someone that isn't. So you know, that's kind of a two-way street when it comes to like evaluating how reliable a source is. You know, somebody who's you know been there for 5 years and has you know 1,000 posts is likely to be more credible than someone who isn't. Not always, but
yeah, I think at the same time though, people, if you look at technical forums that have a lot of anonymity to them, you still do get people who will post and say, either admitting their own qualifications or, citing some kind of source. Where I think that, considering the source of your advice is a good thing, but also you want to avoid the situation where people's justification and arguments can be because I'm the person who said so, which, obviously matters in certain contexts, like, I'm the one who made this, so, I'm qualified to speak on it, but at the same time, there are a lot of non-technical subjects, I feel like, especially when you're talking about things at a consumer level, like what is a good visual novel, what is a bad visual novel, and, at least having people explain, like, why they are proffering the viewpoints that they are.
But that's as much a cultural thing as I think a forum software thing. Like, that's just the sort of culture you want to cultivate.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's also one of the issues with certain, it's one of the issues that I've sometimes had with, previously IRC and later Discord, is that because it's very high latency, people tend to just right away say the thing, and sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes you want the quick response, but at the same time, you sometimes lose a little bit of the nuance that might enter if you had a less synchronous form of communication.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I find the a happy medium for the amount of technical and then detailed posts, well-informed posts, and shit posts is the r/netsec subreddit. They do a lot of work with curating trusted contributors, and since the community is pretty small and global, I find a lot of parallels between just kind of how small communities interact with each other, basically.
All right, we have 3 minutes until the next session starts, so we can actually, let me pass the presentation thing so they can get it set up. So who should I be giving this to? Should I give it to you, Wolf, or should I give it to Brad?
Give it to Brad. Give it to Echo. He's the one managing it.
All right, I will make you the presenter, and then you can get set up and you can start whenever you're ready.